guys, you're in a nutshell with me, Ina. Meron pong isang kumakalat na news article. It's discussing an immigration issue in the UK. Yet, I observed this morning, actually the whole day, it's being shared by immigration practitioners here in Canada. Bakit? Well, nakaka-relate sila. They are saying this is also happening in Canada. And I agree. Una sa lahat, nagkaroon na ako ng episode about this. Binalikan ko nga. It was sometime in January when I initially saw reports about this. And I assume matagal na nga siya sigurong ginagawa ng ilan. Okay? But it's not right, ha? Ano ba yan? Alam niyo yung pinag-uusapan ko, nakita niyo dyan sa title. Ang pagpapanggap na miyembro ng LGBTQ community para sa PR, specifically para ma-approve ang kanilang asylum claim. Okay? Sige, puntahan natin itong report from BBC News, ha? Nagkaroon ng undercover investigation itong BBC at natuklasan nila, no? Hindi lang po sa yung applicants ay nagpapanggap na maging gay. What's alarming about this report is sinasabi na talagang tinuturuan sila ng mga abogado, mga immigration lawyers are involved in the whole scam. Tinuturuan sila, ito yung kwento mo, ito sabihin mo, kung paano basically i-convince yung immigration officials in the UK na tunay silang member ng LGBTQ dahilan para sana i-approve ang kanilang asylum claim kasi kung umuwi daw sila sa kanilang pinanggalingang bansa ay i-persecute sila for their supposed gender. Dito sa Canada, guys, sa ngayon, wala pa akong nakikitang ganyang information. Linking immigration practitioners like consultants or lawyers sa ganyang mga tipo ng application. Now, I won't be surprised kung biglang may magsilabasa na ganyang detalye din dito, di ba? Puntahan po natin yung detalye ng report. Okay, so nakita niyo yung title, Legal Advisors Help Migrants Pose as Gay to Get Asylum. Undercover BBC investigation finds. Okay? A shadow industry of law firms and advisors is charging thousands of pounds to help migrants pretend to be gay in order to stay in the UK. Sa unang part daw ng kanilang undercover investigation, pinapakita nila how migrants whose visas are due to run out are being given fake cover stories and instructed in how to obtain fabricated evidence including supporting letters, photographs, and medical reports. They then apply for asylum, claiming to be gay, and in fear for their lives if they return to Pakistan or Bangladesh. Meron ba ka-greedy talaga ang ilang mga immigration professionals din, di ba? They are risking their practice, their careers. Para saan? Sabi dito, the BBC News investigation reveals the process is being systemically exploited by legal advisors, extracting fees from migrants who want to stay in the country. These are often people whose student, work, or tourist visas have expired rather than those who have just arrived in the country on small boats or through other illegal routes. Meron silang kwento sa isang law firm na kanilang inimbestigahan. One law firm charged up to £7,000 to bring a fabricated asylum claim and promised that the chance of refusal by the Home Office was very low. In short, ang pangako nila, almost sure to, sige, na ma-approve yan. Fake asylum seekers visited GPs, these doctors? Pretending to be depressed in order to get medical evidence to bolster their cases, with one even lying about being HIV positive. Grabe, no, manloloko pa sila ng mga doktor just to get these medical documents. One immigration advisor boasted that she had spent more than 17 years helping bring fake claims and said she could arrange for someone to pretend that they'd had a gay sexual relationship with a client. Aba, may mga kakonsyaba pa na willing magsinungaling at magsabi na we had an intimate relationship. Diba? Anyway, guys, you get an idea. Grabe, no? I wonder Kung may ganitong nangyayari sa UK, hindi malayo na ganito rin pala siguro ang nangyayari sa Canada. Again, the immigration practitioners based in Canada na nakikita kong nagsishare nito, iisa ang tono. It's happening here as well. At tulad ng nabanggit ko, hindi na ako na-sorpresa dito, no? I had an episode nung January. Ito yan, no? Oh, ito yung caption dyan. Fake gays and fake diplomas. I was talking about a report back then. Ito po yun. Record number of asylum seekers claiming to be gay allowed to stay under refugee convention. January 2026. Ngayon, nag-research tayo ng konti, no? Aba, meron akong nahanap, guys, na isang federal court decision na ganito ang na ganyan ang issue. Na-refuse yung kanyang asylum claim. Okay, sa kanyang asylum claim kasi, sinabi niya na siya ay gay, kaya hindi raw siya makauwi. Hindi tinatanggap ang mga katulad raw niya sa kanyang bansa. Ang nangyari, ni-refuse ang kanyang claim dahil hindi naniwala si IRCC officer sa sinasabi niyang kasarian niya. Okay, that he was basically faking being gay. Aba, naglakas ng loob, pumunta pa ng federal court, no? Ito po yan, yung federal court decision. And ang nangyari, guys, sa totoo lang, sinet aside ni judge yung decision. Hindi dahil naniniwala siya sa tunay na kasarian nung lalaki. The judge had some concerns about the way the evidence was appreciated. Parang ganyan. No? Pero babasahin ko to para makita nyo kung bakit kinwestiyon yung kanyang pagiging gay. Okay? So, August 2025 po ang desisyon na ito. A national of Tanzania who sought refugee protection in Canada on the basis of his fear of persecution as a gay man. His refugee claim was refused by a member of the Refugee Protection Division who disbelieved his evidence regarding his sexual orientation. Nung binasa ko ito, talaga magdududa ka rin, no? Ito po kasi ang nangyari. Dumating siya ng Canada 2016. He was still a minor. 2016, ha? It wasn't until 2023, 7 years later, okay, na nag-claim siya ng asylum matapos ma-refuse ang kanyang study permit renewal. O, di ba? Parang iisipin mo talaga naghahanap lang siya ng paraan para makastay, no? Na-refuse ang kanyang application to renew his study permit. So, ang nangyari po dito, nagkaroon ng hearing in person. Okay? And members of the Refugee Division, hindi na-impress ba? Actually, they thought that the guy came very unprepared to answer questions about his background. Puntahan natin yung tanong tungkol dun sa kanyang sexuality. May napansin daw na inconsistency sa sinasabi niyang sexual orientation niya. A member of the Refugee Division highlighted what she perceived as an inconsistency in how the applicant identified himself in his basis of claim. Yan yung basehan mo sa iyong refugee claim, ano? Where he identified as a bisexual. Pero during the hearing daw, at the outset of the hearing, he identified to be gay. Okay? So, dapat daw pareho yun. Along with his vague testimony about his past relationships with other men. Okay? Ito yung naging finding dun sa notes nung Refugee Division. Overall, the panel finds the claimant would switch his identity from bisexual to gay depending on what was being asked versus his basis of claim. The panel further finds details regarding his past relationships, his relationships with other men, to be vague and speculative. The panel finds there is insufficient evidence to support his claim as a gay man seeking protection. Therefore, the panel draws a negative credibility finding. Hindi nakapag-prepare. And I guess, hindi tulad nung nire-report ng BBC, siguro wala siyang legal counsel, legal advisor who prepped him about what to say sa refugee board, no? Pero meron siyang mga kaibigan na tumulong sa kanyang application. Meron dong mga sulat na sinubmit, okay? 3 supporting letters. Yun nga lang, pinagdudahan din nung immigration board na halos identical daw yung composition ng supporting letter. Kumbaga, nagbago lang dun sa sino nakapirma, ganyan. So that was another red flag doon sa officer. Sabi dito, the 3 supporting letters submitted into evidence contain multiple paragraphs that are identical in wording. Hiningan daw nila ng paliwanag, please provide an explanation as to why the letters contain the same paragraphs. No, sabi ko sa inyo, this court decision actually sided with the applicant. Sinantabi yung decision, ipinasa sa ibang officer to assess the application anew. Babasahin ko yung relevant portion talking about why the refusal was found to be unreasonable and must be set aside. Sabi ni Judge dito, I find that cumulatively, the refugee division members' unreasonable evaluation of the supporting evidence and of the applicant's delay in claiming refugee protection, combined with the members' reliance on inconsistencies within counsel's written submissions to support a negative credibility finding, justifies judicial intervention. The decision is unreasonable and must be set aside. Sa totoo lang, nahirapan din akong intindihin yung technicalities kung bakit ganito yung naging decision ni Judge. But it is what it is. Kinatigan ni Judge ang applicant. The application is granted. Tapos, yung decision ng Refugee Appeal Division is set aside. Ayan. Okay. And remitted to the Refugee Appeal Division for redetermination. So this is proof that merong ganitong mga issue happening in Canadian immigration. I'm curious though, no, kung ano na kaya status ng pag-redetermine ng asylum claim na ito. Affected kaya si Kuya sa Bill C-12? Kasi take note, nag-file siya po ng asylum claim several years after his arrival here in Canada. Remember, isa po yan sa key changes na meron ngayon dahil sa Bill C-12 na ngayon po ay isa ng batas. Dapat raw kapag ang isang tao ay nag-claim ng asylum, i-claim niya yan within 1 year ng pagdating niya dito. Kapag nag-claim siya ng asylum after 1 year, hindi na raw yan didinggin. It would be refused. So, tignan natin. Kung hindi pa finalized, kung hindi pa nagkakaroon ng bagong decision dito, maybe he could be covered by this law, no? Anyway, that is it. I'll end this episode here. Let me know what you guys think. See you guys in the next one. Bye!